There has been some breaking news in the last couple of minutes from Gaston Edul, who's an Argentinian journalist for TYC Sport, and he's claiming that Cuti Romero is set to leave Tottenham this summer.
Yeah, I'm reading the full tweet here. He says, Romero has interest from La Liga in Spain and other leagues as well. He had already had interest in the previous transfer window and they came very close to making a formal offer. He is going to leave Tottenham in the next June transfer window.
See, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. It's going to take a monstrous offer.
I don't think there's any...
I don't think he can say definitively that Romero is going to be leaving in the summer window.
Obviously, it's not up to Romero, is it? At the end of the day, it's up to the club. But obviously, I don't think it's any coincidence this is now being leaked. We obviously had yesterday happened, again calling out the board. There's obviously going to be is this more Romero leaking things to put more pressure on the board? Okay, look, if you don't like, I'm going to leave, essentially, or I'm going to put pressure on you to sell me unless you start acting a different way. Is this him making a definitive leak saying, is this the club leaking it saying we're gonna sell in the summer, interest from all these other teams?
Well, seeing as it's coming from an Argentinian journalist,
you would think it's Romero, yeah. Is it him? So is him leaking it? Is it, what's the purpose of it? Is it to put pressure on the board? Is it to state his intentions clear, to get clubs moving, to get their offers in place? Is it a threat essentially about, look, I know I'm the captain and I have power in the dressing room, but I'm going to be out of here. Like, I've got interest. Is he trying to drum up that interest now by leaking this? Is it his agent who wants him to move? Trying to drum up interest? What is the purpose? What? Obviously, the timing is not a coincidence, is it?
No, it's definitely not. And he can see the direction that this club's going in. I have no doubt that the guy wants out sooner rather than later. But yeah, I think it's basically a shape up or I'm off, basically, one of those things. But I think it's past that now. I think
is it even a threat? Or
yeah, I think it's past that. But the reality is, he can't go unless we get a fee that we think he's valued at. And I think that we're going to value him more than probably clubs are willing to pay. So this could become into a sticky situation and a bad situation. But I don't think that from La Liga clubs or from other clubs around Europe we get the fee that we want. I just can't see it.
Well, La Liga, the thing is, La Liga clubs just don't have the money. It's very hard. It's like they just don't have the money to spend. I think the only bid, from what I remember in the summer for Romero, was like 45 million, which is obviously nowhere near what we want.
And now we signed a contract on top of that.
So we're going to be demanding upwards of 70, 80 million, I would say, for him. Obviously, maybe with all this stuff going on, is there a willingness from Tottenham to do a deal? Because maybe they just don't want this headache. And there would be a willingness to do a deal at a fair price, maybe let's say 60, 65. I don't think Tottenham would want to be accepting much less than that, especially because he's at a decent age as well. 27 years of age. Not like he's not like he's old or anything and over the hill. He's in peak age. Got a long contract. Tottenham obviously have a lot of cards here when it comes to selling him, but with obviously one of the cards Romero has is him speaking out on social media and all this kind of stuff. So that obviously would rub the hierarchy up the wrong way, and would that make them more willingness to do a deal? Maybe.
No, I think they care more about money than anything else.
Do they? They took a loss on Johnson.
How much of a loss of Johnson? A couple of million. This is big money we're talking about.
What? In terms of how much we bought him for, it was like a 13
million. Yeah, 13 million. This is a lot more. This is proper money we're talking about here. This is like they value him at, I reckon, around 100 million. This could be a record sale for Tottenham. This is what they would want for Cuti Romero. So there's no chance they sell him at below 50 million. No chance at all.
Not 50. I'm saying I reckon they value him at like 80. Would they take 65?
They might take 65. Still making profit on him as well. But I think they're going to dig their heels in and try and get more than that.
They'll try, but whether there's an accept, there might be. My point is, there might be an acceptance that maybe we should let him go because we just can't have the headache anymore of him talking all the time.
If they would prefer to sell him rather than to stop the headache than to actually make the club better, then we may as well just all just pack up our bags and go home.
Sounds like the hierarchy to me.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like it to me as well. But on this report, though, he can't definitively say that Cuti Romero is going to leave Tottenham in the summer. That's not. I don't think that's a credible report.
Well, he can't say it, but
he has said it.
No, he can't. Obviously, he's saying it from a point of view like. Obviously, it says Romero will leave in June. What that tells me is Romero wants to leave and he'll try and make it happen.
So why doesn't the report say Romero wants to leave the club in June?
Look, I don't know. Maybe it's lost in translation, but that's what it means. We obviously can't say definitively because there's no deal in place right now. Unless there's a pre-agreement, there's nothing definitive about anyone agreeing a fee or whatever. Obviously, for me, that obviously means he wants to leave in June rather than he is leaving in June. What it means by he is leaving in June is he is going to make it happen. He wants to leave and he's going to make it happen in June.
But he can't make it happen unless the bids come in.
He can't. Well, obviously the bids have to come in, but he can do his part to make it happen, can't he?
But there's so many moving parts to him being able to leave.
But sometimes if a player wants to leave, maybe the club will oblige.
Yeah, but the bids have to come in.
No, I agree with that, but how many times have we seen players force moves?
Because bids are coming in.
Yeah, and he's saying there's interest, the bids will come in, is what he's saying, and he will leave.
I don't know if that's true, though. I don't know if
that's what he says.
I don't know if that's true, though. I don't know if I buy it.
Look, he is slightly predicting the future with this report, right? Obviously, who knows?
It's
anything
not slightly,
can happen.
it's massively.
No, he's saying he thinks he wants to leave and he's going to try and make it happen. So he will leave if an offer comes and the club accepts. He will leave. Essentially, is what he's saying.
It could be there's no leaking of anything to the press, and a journalist is just trying to jump on the back of Cuti's statement and trying to just preempt the future. This could also be the case as well.
Yeah, but I understand that, but I don't think that he reports it unless there's some sort of messaging coming from Romero's camp about it. I think the timing's too coincidental. I think we've seen Romero say something, and I think Romero's agent has probably told Gaston Edel, look, he wants to leave.
Yeah, but
he's going to leave.
You say the
June.
timing is too coincidental, but this is the time. If you're going to preempt something, this is the exact time that you're going to do it.
Mm.
So when you're trying to bring up like a clickbaity story, like
yeah, but
obviously,
Gaston Edel is pretty reliable.
Who's the journalist that? I mean, I can't remember. There was one Argentinian journalist that just kept saying stuff in the summer that was just completely wrong. I can't remember who it was. Was it him or was it someone else? I think it might have been him.
From what I know, he's pretty reliable with Argentinian news. Gaston Edel.
I don't know.
I'm not saying he's never got anything wrong. Look, the report is essentially he wants to leave and is going to try and make it happen. That's kind of what I gather from it. Obviously, we don't know.
That's the reports of what you gather, but what's actually said is that Cuti Romero is going to leave Tottenham in June.
Yeah,
that's what's been said.
Right. So how else is that going to happen?
Well, that's what I keep saying. There are so many moving parts to it, so he can't definitively say that that's the case when he is saying it.
Mm.
So I don't doubt that he wants to leave, but you need to get bids that Spurs are willing to accept. That's the reality. And I don't know how close we are to that, but
I can't say about any player at this point in the summer that they're going to definitely leave.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand that, but that doesn't mean the intention isn't there.
Yeah.
And that's enough.
Yeah, fine. And I don't doubt the intention being there. So say it more kind of in a realistic way than he's definitely going to be leaving in June, or he's going to be leaving in June.
Yeah, he's putting pressure on the board. I think it's a leak from Romero's camp. To say, look, tell them put this out, and it's going to put pressure on the board even more.
Yeah, and the board
is going to get the fans worried and all this kind of stuff.
The board could just be looking at this report saying, "Oh, you're going to leave, are you? Yeah, all right. Give us 100 million, and then we can start to think about it." That's what the board are probably thinking about right now, seeing this report.
I don't know. I think Levy would. I don't know about this board.
Yeah, we don't know how these guys manage transfer
ones
windows because this one was non-existent.
Yeah, we don't know how they operate. So maybe they will feel the pressure. We know Levy would not even take a notice of this, 100%. And obviously, I don't know if you said something similar a year ago to the day. He might have tweeted out something similar, and obviously he signed the contract in the end. But a lot of things changed. We've won Europa League, blah blah blah, back in the Champions League. A lot will change, but the likelihood is they're going to be out of Europe right now. That's where it's headed.
Yeah.
So, wow, Europe. He's been at the club how long now? This is already his fifth year or fourth year?
He came in
2021.
Yeah.
So this is his 21, 22, 22, 23. This is his fifth year. So next year will be going into his sixth year. So it's half a decade. That's enough time at a club. They're getting ahead of the hierarchy, are getting a headache. There's even some fans saying, would I even miss him because he makes mistakes, blah, blah, blah. I disagree with that, but some fans even have that opinion as well. So, would there be mass outrage if he gets sold? There'll be I would say mostly negative, but there'll be some fans who don't mind it. So I think there's a good chance it happens if the end of the season goes how the season's been going and we don't get European football. I think they will sell.
I think as well, like, we've had this noise before. We had this the whole of last summer. Last time he came out, also all these reliable journalists were coming out saying Romero's going to leave. He's going to go to Atletico, all this kind of stuff. How did it end up? Him signing a new contract. So he signed a new contract. He signed a new long-term contract.
But now
that's to protect their asset.
I understand that, but now he's saying they've been lied to, blah, blah, blah. Also, we won the Europa League, so we had Champions League football. Different scenario now. This landscape has changed. And he's given, essentially, what's happened, he's basically given it a year to see if...
Do you think he's going to leave this summer then? You think he's gone? We said that last summer.
Agreed, but he wasn't. But I do think it is now. Doesn't mean just because it didn't happen last summer doesn't mean it won't happen this summer. And I also think Romero leaving will make Van der Ven very seriously think about his future as well.
I think Van der Ven's already seriously thinking about his future.
I know, but
and Romero's got less time on his contract.
I think Van der Ven really looks up to Romero, and I think they make a really good partnership.
What are you saying? Get ready for a back two of Vuskovic and Bijveld next season.
The thing is, I think we actually hold our ground on Van der Ven, like what you were saying. I don't know if we do it on Romero. I think we do it on Van der Ven, though. I think we say Van der Ven ain't leaving under any circumstances, but I actually think we'll be open to Vince Romero. And I think it's the wrong approach, and I think
it should be the other way around.
Maybe, but I think it's the wrong approach, and I think we should be not open to bids for either of them, and I think we shouldn't be in this situation, but we are in this situation, and we're going to get a healthy fee. We'll probably replace him with someone not as good for a lot of money because we overpay for someone, and we're going to be getting worse and worse, probably. Or maybe we'll just put Vuskovic in.
Yeah, that's what they go in the comments saying, should Romero go, we best be bringing Vuskovic back straight into the first team. And I think that's probably a big thing that they look at, isn't it? Because like they got Vuskovic, who's like top performing player in the Bundesliga this season. If Romero goes, they've got their replacement ready made there.
There is that option. I don't know if he's ready to be starting in Premier League for a top team. Is he be ready to start for a team where we are? Probably.
Exactly.
But we want to be better than where we are.
But we're not.
We want to be. So
we want to be, but we're not.
So we shouldn't settle for Vuskovic, is my point. But we probably will because whatever. The club don't care, or maybe the club think he's good enough to be top starting for a top 6 team, which is where we want to be. But I don't know. I don't know how that goes. I think we obviously sign someone. I don't think it's a case we'll bring Vuskovic back and that's it. We obviously go and sign someone as well. But maybe we think we could use the money, but we shouldn't need to sell Romero to get any money. We should have money on top of Romero. So I don't think it's a case of we think we need the Romero money to sign players. I just think the club probably think they can get a good fee for him. Probably could do without the headache. And he probably wants out because of the whole situation. Bit similar to Kane, probably. I think in different circumstances, he'll probably would like to stay, but he feels like he probably wants to go because things aren't getting better at all, and like it's not a winning culture. And he'll probably go on to another good team, fit in really well, and probably win a bunch of trophies.
Yeah, it's true. Look, I do have my kind of, like I've been saying, I'm not sure how kind of credible it is that they can definitively say that he's going to leave in June. But again, on the other side of it, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was to leave this summer. So I guess we're just going to have to watch his space and see how it progresses and pans out.
Not good. We are a shambles. Our captain wants out. Our board is a mess. And for honestly, I think Romero leaving is another, just like, you know, Kane left and we got 100 million. And some people even at the time were saying, oh, you know, you can put some other players in there and maybe they're better fit for profile. You're not going to get a player that's better than Kane. That's the definitive thing. And I think the same with Romero, honestly. We're not going to get a better player than him. You can dress up all you like. I don't think we're not going to get a better player in the transfer market than Romero, in my opinion. And I think whatever way it is I think it's down from that point of view. And I think it's not a good situation.
All right. Well, that is the breaking news of today.